the idea is now to co-create a strategic planning, maybe workshop with your team. So if I were to do that, I would have, let me make sure that it's, there we go. Now I can see which screen it saves. Maybe there. Excellent. So the screen that we, or you know what, I can actually remove this first and start off scratch. So I remove it, yes. Let's say we want to create a page of strategic planning. So I go add a page, I say strategic planning. Our next steps, and then we save. Now we've created a new page. Just like Paul has done up here, we might want to create welcome. So we say strategic planning. What is the name of your team, or do you have like a team name?
Oh, strategy team.
Strategy team, or the
strategy
team. Perfect. Let's do strategy planning for the strategy team, and then we want to make this a header. So we make it big, might even make it larger than that. We choose a font that is bold and visible. There we go. We use transparent background. I'm missing it. I'm thinking Swedish now, but is this correctly spelled? Planning.
Double N.
Double N, right? Okay. Sorry, it's the difficulties of having two languages that are too close to each other. Excellent. So what you could do here is, let's say you want to invite.
Sorry, let me see.
I think it is two N's.
Yes, it's two N's. Yes.
Exactly.
It's okay.
In English,
we all understand.
Yeah, because there we go. So let's say you want to give them, you want to engage them ahead of times. So we say, let me move that up. So we say 27th. Excellent. Please add your thoughts on where we want to be in 2025. So we have 2 years strategic planning. 5 in the chat. Once time is up, you will see the Zoom link for our meeting right here. There we go. And then we can add a Zoom link here. If we choose this one, we can just do this, or we could even do we can even hyperlink this here. There we go.
Yeah, it's cleaner like that.
Well, it's really up to you how you want to design the flow.
Exactly. So this could be the first one. And then I always like to use our page dividers, or a page divider. So I go here and then I select a line, black line, make it transparent. And I also here decide that the clicking of this image will do nothing. And then save. I connect these two containers so that it's one. Okie dokie. Now we might have, let's say we have a PDF of the current state of mind that we upload here.
May I give a suggestion, Demet? Something that I love in Howspace is the fact that we can use small videos on welcoming participants or setting the context. Wondering, Loin, in your case, would that make sense to have a video, a welcome video?
Yeah. But then either we have to make it or we have to find something inspirational, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So what you
Basically,
could do
right?
is we could here, we could record a video straight from the platform or just choose one that to upload. So a video, we could say something like,
Find an inspirational video from YouTube.
or that exactly, or one can just say, hi, welcome to this platform. This is what we're going to do here. Please think about XYZ when we're doing this workshop. It's really important for you to be engaged. It's really important for us to keep you engaged. And then we stop and upload. And there we go. Now we have a welcoming video as well for the participants to watch when they come in.
Ooh, super fast. This is a feature on Howspace, right? Auto record.
Yes.
Wow.
And in addition to that, we could have a PDF or something that you want them to kind of get activated on, and then a chat. Or we could even have a pulse here to prepare them and say, please add your sentiment below. 5 equals agree. -5 equals disagree. Oops. There we go. And then we go to the negative to positive, and then we say, we will have a successful 2024. We will be inclusive. We are there we go, etc. And you can select how many of these as you want. And then we could say financially, and then here high employee engagement, for example. And then down here we can select that we don't show latest round results, we show their answer. We don't need to show average, or quite the opposite, we show average but not mine, and then we are done. And here we can ask a question of what do we, looking at our current strategy, what do we need to work on to reach new goals in 2024? And we make this unavailable, we make this unavailable, we don't show timestamps, and here we say that they can only see their own comments. Great. So now in just a few minutes, we've created a checking in and a pre-engagement part of this of this workshop that we're going to have. We can say that we will have a successful 2024. Yes, we have an including and engaging organization. Well, that's not my priority now, so that's why I go -2, and then I submit. And then the more answers come in, the more you can see here, both in terms of I forget the word, but historically what people are saying, and also in the average results. So where do we end up? In addition to that, we can have people start adding their ideas and thoughts, and they have a lot of time doing this. So behind the scenes, we can make sure to say, have not commented, send emails, write the email saying, hey, I noticed that you're not yet engaging in this chat. Would you please do so before we meet up? And then we choose the date and time. And since we're meeting up in 6 days, this is something that we want to send out on Monday, the latest, to remind them to go in and say something. In addition to that, we want to give a big thank you for people who have engaged and who have actually spent time sending their saying what they think. So thank you, Paul. And then we go into send emails again, write our thank you email and choose again a date and time that we want it to be sent. And the system would recognize when to say thank you for taking the time. And for those who have not yet, say, come on, please give me some answers. So this is the first step. How do you think this would work for your team to send out a thing like this?
Yeah, I think this is good. I think once they come in, it's easy to do, but yeah, usually the team member they're busy and they don't do it until the last minute.
Yeah.
And we can keep sending the chaser. No, we can show like who has done it, who haven't done it. That can give the pressure to the team.
Yeah. We could also here say, show others comments after commenting, or we could just say, show all comments. Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, Demet, I have a couple of questions. Can you show again, right? If I have a link to something, but I want to hide it behind a word, behind a picture, how is it being done? This is the first question.
We use here. So behind the word, if you click here more and you say, click here to talk to me. And we want all of this to be part of it. Then I go here and I click there and then I add my link. I can make it bold, make it visible, and there it is. Now we have hyperlinked this.
Okay, good. Yes, thank you. Second question is, yes. Yes, yeah, I got it. Okay, I always can't locate that button. Okay. Second question is for the pulse check. They're supposed to be accumulating the different pulse check, and over time you see the graph from, let's say, one session to the next session. How is it being done to compare the different rounds?
You activate a new answering round to do the next one, and then you say save. And then you can say that now this time I feel like this and this time I feel like that. And then from this perspective, you just see the average on this at this point. But what you can also do is go here and add another. And in advanced settings, we choose follow-up results to look backwards. And then save. Now, based on what I show, I can see how the average follow-up has been historically. In addition to that, if I wanted to see how I differ from the rest of the team, I can activate show my results and answers. And then I can see I'm differing quite a bit, but not completely.
Yeah, so this is the one I always miss. Yes, yes. But you see, when I create a new round in a new page, the round 1, round 2 disappear. And then
you have to use the same widget.
So I have to copy the widget to the next page. Is that what you're saying?
No, you drag and drop. So here, if I go to edit page layout, and let's say I want to have this question again, then I pull it and I place it here.
Oh, you move it.
I move the entire.
The widget moved from page to page, and it keeps the comments.
Yes.
But then the last page will have no more of these what I call pulse check. Right?
So you don't keep you don't create a new pulse per page, but you pull the same pulse throughout the different stages.
Okay. No wonder I cannot see that graph. Okay, because I created a new one, and then I have to repeat the rounds every time. Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Now I got it.
Makes sense. But yes, you have to keep it all in the same widget. So you pull it to. So for example, to show you something, what we do when we do, for example, the essentials training, or any of our others, we have our session 1, and on the bottom of session 1 is usually where we ask, what did you think of this session now? Please give us some feedback. It's in the checkout. This is where we have a chat, and this is where we usually have the pulse. At the end of every, or in the beginning of the next session, we go and we move it from here to session 2. And we have the same structure, same look here, where there's space for that. And when that is done, we move it to session 3. And here we have the full pulse with all 3 weeks of answers.
Yep.
Oh, they are improving.
They are improving.
So the runs is based on the timestamp.
Exactly. So you activate the round for whichever. We could even do this and call this January, February, and then March.
Oh, you create run here. Okay.
And then save. Or you could do this as a pre, during, after setup. So you can say, I feel engaged and inspired before they start the workshop. And then maybe during you can say, hey, answer this poll again. And you see, or this pulse again. And then they go in and answer. And then at the end of it, what do you feel now? So within maybe 2 hours time, you can see how their mood has changed. Do they still feel inspired, or have they felt uninspired at some point during the workshop? Because our energy levels usually go like this.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It could be also not just the inspiration, but it could be also other reasons for people to evaluate.
Definitely. Definitely. So if we look at, for example, how we want to move forward from here, if we have all the different ways of working, we want to look at hybrid ways of working, or we want to look at how to have less meetings but more efficient ones. Not working in silos. Transforming to a more agile team, maybe, etc. We have all our ideas here. Once the actual event starts, or when you meet up, we can now start having a workshop on this. And the structure on the workshop can be made in the exact same way we did just recently. Is we can say, perfect, now we have all the feedback that we wanted. We can move this down here, and we can hide this to not make it available. And then we have, looking at our current strategy, what do we need to work on? And then we can pull down, if we wanted to, 3 chats. One to look at from a short-term quick fix. We could remove the possibility for videos. Timestamp. Don't need likes or replies at this point. In fact, we might not even need to have this availability, because this is a sticky note that we make read. Perfect. And then we have needs more tailoring. So these would be the things that we might not necessarily want to or be able to get kick-started with, but we need to create a team around. So it's not a quick fix. It's not let's purchase Howspace. It's we'll talk more about this with more people. And then we also here again, we make these things unavailable, and there we go. And then we have last but not least, maybe long-term projects needs 5 years minimum, for example. And then we can just start creating our structures. Save. We need to make this a color. So let's go with this long term. There we go. So now we have these 3 categories that we can start moving with. We have already started the pre-work, so we have all the ideas already. We don't have to spend too much time on it. If we wanted to, since we have, let's say, made time for 2 hours, the ideation has already started. Now we can go through each and every one of our ideas and talk about them. So we can spend more time on discussing these problems that we have already, or these strategic new things that we need to do during our session, rather than making up the ideas as well. And once we have done that, we can together say, okay, perfect, transforming a more agile team. Maybe this needs a bit more work. So then we move it here. And since we're doing it all together, we would then say, okay, we all agree, perfect. And then we could move this to long-term, maybe. And this would be short-term, quick fix. And here we would say short-term, quick fix. Now, if you would do this as a team and go through everyone's point of view and everyone mentioning what they wrote or what they wanted to talk about, that could be a great way to kind of set up the different kind of categories. So the short-term quick fixes would probably be a very long list, and the needs more tailoring would be somewhat shorter but still long, and then the long-term projects would be quite a lot shorter, because we're not having that long of a perspective when we're adding our first ideas.
Amazing.
This way,
Let me cut here because Peter has hands on.
Oh,
Peter,
I thought it was the old hand, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
if not, if this is just for you to lower their hand, obviously it's amazing to have you here, Demet. I'm so thankful because this is really advanced Howspace. I hope that you're absorbing not too much. I would like just to, Demet, to go back onto edit mode, just for our viewers who are watching this, because they are not so good students as Lowin. Lowin is here from module 1 until the last day, so she's an advanced student. But maybe you guys are not attending the sessions. You're a little bit confused on what we are doing here. We are building a space for strategy planning, right? And on top of the screen, you can see just below our Howspace Academy logo, there's a range of containers. And this is the basic building block that Demet is using for creating the page. So you have a range of ways of organizing your widgets, which are the second layer. Below containers, you have a selection of widgets. And then, of course, each widget, you have a choice for your activity, so plenty of tools for you as a digital facilitator. But then each widget, you need to go on the settings of the widget, and that's what also Demet did. So selecting container, then you select the widget, and then you go to the widget, and you have a range of settings to decide, and you have the basic ones, and if you go deeper, you have the advanced setting. But that's not that much complicated, because you can start small steps, right? You can do basic stuff and gain lots of benefit. And then, of course, go deeper and deeper and deeper. Like we have here, Peter is already using Howspace for many years. He has 200 or so community participants in Howspace. And he was just today asking about the pulse features for mutual. So that's advancing on your knowledge. You don't need to be an expert Howspace user to start extracting benefit out of this. And I'm sorry for the pitch, but this is just for the viewers who are watching this to have this information. Thank you, Demet, and over to you.
I think that's great information to add, actually. And I think it's quite important to, on top of that, Paul mentioned that it's also It doesn't need to be as complex as it looks for everyone when you're watching the video, because when you have your thought and process in mind, and when implementing it, it would all click and make sense for you. So all these clicking and clacking and the changing of colors that you see that I do, or when I untick some boxes, that might not make sense to you now. But if you're actually thinking about when having a process, when having that workshop, and being able to say, when I'm moving these comments, I don't want there to be replies, likes, or anything to disturb my vision, because that's not what I want them to do right now. Then you understand why I have removed it. And it would all make more sense for you when you're actually working in it. But in Essentials, what I've done is pulled down one chat, or 4 different chats actually. Out of these 3, I have activated something that we call sticky note, which is our version of post-its. And I could have chosen to keep it at discussion, which would just leave it as a normal chat, like the one above. But here,
and by the way, Demet, can you show also the impact on adding comments?
Of course. What when we say impact of adding comments, what do we mean?
No, because right now on the post-its, you have removed the chance of add comments. What will be the impact if you add that option available so that the viewers can see?
So when you activate comments, you again then have the ability to add comments. Then when you can also tick the boxes of liking, etc. Here I can add another comment. So we could say having a closer collab. There we go. Now we can actually add comments into these sticky notes. So the categorization is not necessarily made in the different sticky notes, but it's made prior to it. We've already decided what type of comment we put where.
Right. And this is flexibility, right? Because if you're in the middle of the discussion and then suddenly you need to have an important comment that you don't have, you go there, say add comments, and you had it, right? So that's really how flexible we can, the Howspace can be.
Exactly. And then you can also build on a comment. So we could say, this is great. Now you have added all of your thoughts. Now we want you to go in and see the replies. But we actually don't want you to comment anymore. Stop commenting. We now want to continue building on the ideas that we have. So then we go remove comments again, but we have activated replies. And there we go. Now I can go in here and reply to Paul's idea and say, interesting. How would this work?
I love that feature. I love that feature because from my own experience, and Peter can testify this because we worked already with different digital tools, is the fact that with the digital media, it's so easy to type comments. And sometimes we really need to restrict the flow and improve quality rather of quantity, right? And this is awesome. If we find like 5-6 comments that are important and we want to discuss further, so we can build the dialogue as Demet just shown and start a conversation inside the comment. And then I'm sure we can also use AI on top of that, right? I'm not sure.
Yes. Yeah. That was actually going to be my second point. So here, if we imagine that we have used the structure of, we've chosen to focus on our short-term and quick fixes. And we have the functionality of, you know what, let's remove this and use this instead. So we can drag and drop this above here. And then we can do theme cluster. And in the settings here, we want to include only comments. So this is where I only want to see the main comments. And then I want to do another theme cluster, but here I actually want to do a theme cluster of only the replies. And save. I can also hide these to make it cleaner for the participant sides. And now see that I have one here for all the replies to comments. And here is the theme cluster of all the comments that were made.
Amazing.
You can do this for all our different AI functionalities. So this is specifically for our theme cluster. If I want to go and have a look at word cloud, I can do that and see all the things that have to do with the word cloud. And here I can see that it's gone by default to both comments and replies. So I can choose replies and see which word cloud is, which words are repeated the most in replies. Since we only have one reply, these words are quite small. But if I would copy paste this into more places, you would see that the word cloud kind of delivers a different view the more words I add.
But this is
replies.
awesome, Demet. I'm so pleased that you are showing all these features. And definitely, my question to you, Demet, and also to Peter, and obviously also to Loin, even though you have not experience with Howspace, you have experience with workshop management. Is really, wouldn't these features also are like creating a burden in terms of the facilitator for she or he to plan even harder the work that needs to be done, right?
Not really. I would say that the possibility to plan exists. So we can always create it. If you saw the first video as well, you can also always create it in the view of steps, where we guide a group of people through steps. We have decided what should happen where. But since the flexibility exists, and if you are in a safe environment where you feel comfortable, then you can easily sense make together with your participants. So you can say, hey, by the way, wouldn't it be interesting to see what the replies were? Or rather, let's have a look at what the things could be. Now it's on generic perspective. Have a look at what this is. Or even further, say, you know what, we want to make a decision. We want to see what of the comments or the words that we liked the most. Then we can see the word sizing based on points or likes or whatever. So I think the flexibility of kind of going where you want it to go or where the group brings us to exists. So you don't have to have everything planned. However, one thing that you should have is the sense of calm and comfort in the group that you're facilitating. So to feel like you can lead the process away from the planned structure if you wanted or needed it to. And of course, in terms of like what Howspace also offers is that we make sure that everyone has the ability to learn this. We have internal trainings. We have forerunner programs that is a 1 hour times 6 weeks, or once a week, 1 hour a day for 6 weeks, training that we have with participants to get to be that a student facilitator digitally and to understand how to implement Howspace in all the different ways. We help out in setting up the new structure for your most urgent activity that you might have, if it's a workshop, if it's an event, whatever it could be. So we do have a lot of support systems in Howspace to help you succeed at start, but we also kind of believe in teaching people how to fish rather than giving them the fish. So we have heaps of trainings to make sure that you succeed in your way and to kind of translate how your organization works into a Howspaceian way, not necessarily direct translations, because that doesn't work. We've known that from how we moved from the non-hybrid world into the pandemic world, where we were all in front of our Zoom calls or Teams calls, but there was no additional tool to make us collaborate or get that humanity in there. So we know that doesn't work. That's why we have to translate it. We have to rephrase it. We have to change the way we do things. And that's what we are here for in Howspace, to help that happen.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you're here, and this is empowering. And I'm glad that you're here, and this is empowering facilitators with these new tools. And definitely this goes back, if you're watching this recording, for the start of the recording, Loin said it's all about the learning curve. You remember that, Loin?
Yep.
Learning curve. That's the real challenge here. Any more comments from the rest of the participants and my co-host Peter?
Yep, I just seconded Demet's point. I think this is a feature that, for example, imagine all these stickers are on the board physically with papers. So one of the challenges for us is to move them around. When you move them around, you don't see the statistics. So for me, I will use this as moving a RAM around, but with the statistics to see the data. I think it's fairly okay to even show the participants how you want them to choose the points or the words, for example, because that is a choice. So that become a process by itself, rather than hiding that process. You can actually show it. So it become a consensus point of view. So there's even added a dimension to facilitation. The last point.
Great comment, Peter. Yes, it's another dimension to the facilitation by sharing with the participants how you would like to run the process, right?
Yep. And then because you're able to record it here, you become statistically visible. Oh, when we move it, we see a different view. When we see it, there's a different view. So it become a very added dimension in facilitation. What I will be interesting to do, that's what me and Paul are doing in our digital academy, is really moving the paper into digital. The only limitation I found so far is the screen scope, because unless we have a very powerful but cheap option where the screen can be wide and we can see all at one time, it's always limited by the scrolling of the screen vertically and horizontally. Vis-a-vis when you read it on the physical paper, you can see the entire board in front of you. Yeah, so there's something, hopefully we can overcome it eventually in some way. But I also discover one way to do is you get participants to bring their laptop. You know, I have experiment where we do a digital in an on-site point of view. So everybody have a laptop and you can see your position, and we discuss hearing each other on the laptop, but looking at the screen. And it's quite an interesting experience. If you can visualize what I'm trying to say, you know, you project it on a screen, but instead of typing and writing on a paper, we look at the laptop. And we can see the information all at the same time, but in a different dimension. That means I can see what you write. I can also see what the other person write. But at the same time, I can see the summary on the board. Yeah. So there's another version of digitize. I think with this feature from the Howspace, that can be even better improved. Yeah.
And we go full circle here. We go full circle totally, because when I started my PhD back in 90s, IBM was inventing a system for decision making that was exactly as Peter just said. So everybody had a laptop, and the comments were made in the laptop, and then everybody sees everybody comments. And now Howspace is allowing that same functionality in face-to-face meetings, because everybody has a laptop. So it's very easy to say to, hey, bring your laptop.
Yeah. And everyone has a phone even. And since Howspace is reactive, you can be on your phone, because that's very comfortable as well.
Cool. So we are approaching the end of the day, right? Is there anything else here, Loin, you like to share, comment? Any final views?
Well, this is really inspirational to me. First time I see it's what do you call this, integrated tools. Makes a mix of Slido, conference, and Miro together into one, and Zoom actually 4 into one, and AI as well. The AI part, if it is done well, it would be super helpful, because we all hate doing all this consolidation analysis work, and it also create a lot of debate, argument, sometimes take forever to complete. So maybe the AI can help us by looking at different perspective, and you have that. I think that area can continue to dig deep. I think there is it has a lot of potential. Yeah, and then, but the only thing is people have to learn are willing to learn. That might be the barrier from start.
Willingness to learn, yes, willingness.
But I think that this is the future.
Okay, cool. Peter, Demet, any last comments? So before we stop the recording.
No, one last thing about the willingness to learn. I have a customer who every time we're in a meeting, she says, "This is amazing. I feel like I can be creative without having a creative bone in my body because it's so easy to make something look good and smooth in Howspace without actually being that creative or being a graphic designer. So it is easy to learn and it doesn't take too much to do it, though you might need to have the willingness. I agree.
So I can sign up for a free account to use for small group people.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead and start your sandbox. Now that's the advantage of this training, is that everybody who is in the training to start using their own sandboxes. Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about the security part? I think for the corporate, right, company I work for before, they always has concern about the leakage of the data.
It's very secure. We're just quite yesterday, I think, received information that we are being ISO certified. And to understand which ISO certification, let me go and find the exact number that we're being certified as, but that will come out in 2 weeks' time. Let me check. So it means ISO 27001 certification, which we have received.
Well done, Demet. Congratulations. That's amazing.
We're very excited about it.
And that's also something that I appreciate a lot about your company, Demet, is having resources like you, your good self here.
Yeah, you're really good.
I really enjoy it, and I enjoy meeting all of you. It's always very fun.
Thank you so much for being here, Peter.
That's my ending comment. That's my ending comment too. Thanks, Demet, for demonstrating so smoothly and easy all these features. Yeah, it makes things very easy for us to. Yeah, looking forward to your other learning in the other program too. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, dear participants. Thank you for watching. If you're taking the time to watch, as I suspect you will, and see you next time.
See you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.